Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another deadly made-for-TV movie. My name is Jennifer Rainier Woods, and joining me for this episode is Alphia, the head admin of the Lifetime Movie Club fan page. Today I will be discussing Dying to Belong with Alphia, and this was a movie starring Hilary Swank before she became well known for her role in Boys Don't Cry. Hilary Swank has been in a few TV movies in the 90s, such as Cries Unheard with Jaclyn Smith and Terror in the Family. She also played Buffy's friend Kimberly in the original movie version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. As far as I'm concerned, the only Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but there is some debate about that. Dying to Belong also stars Mark Paul Gosselaar, a.k.a. Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. And it stars Jenna Von Oy, a.k.a. Six from the TV show Blossom. Crazy Laura from 90210, you know, the one who became suicidal when she lost a coveted lead role to Brenda in the college production of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, plays one of the sorority sisters. Sarah Chalk, a.k.a. Becky 2 and Roseanne, plays another sorority sister, so it packs many familiar faces within those 90 minutes. As usual, I will begin with a short summary of the plot line, and if you enjoy my podcast and would like to hear more, please subscribe to my channel so that you never miss any of my new content. The movie opens on a dramatic note, as many of these movies do. This time, though, it's not with a semi-spoiler. It's with a sorority girl being left in the middle of a deserted highway for an initiation, about to be run down by an approaching vehicle. We see headlights closing in on her. Before we find out what happens next, we skip ahead a year. Hilary Swank plays Lisa Connors. She arrives at college all starry-eyed and hopeful. Fool. Her mother is a former sorority girl, and she has big plans for her daughter, but her daughter isn't so much about all of that. She's got plans of her own that include being a journalist and joining the school paper. She meets her new roommate, who looks like she belongs in Joan Jett's rock band. Her new roommate seems nice enough, but Lisa is a little weirded out by the fact that this girl has blue hair. Not long after that, Lisa meets Shelby while waiting in line to register on the first day. You don't hear the name Shelby often, but my mother had a stepsister with that name, so it was kind of cool hearing the name in a TV movie. Shelby is much more on Lisa's level than Rocker Girl, so they decide to trick the new roommate into thinking they're long-lost Girl Scout buds from high school. Rocker Girl thinks that's really gross and can't get out of the room fast enough. I just want to add that in a movie these days, I don't think anyone would ever think to mock someone based on the fact that they have blue hair. I think that blue hair girl would probably be the heroine in a movie these days, and the two straight-laced girls would be the antagonists. So right away, you know this is the 90s. Anyway, with a roommate out of the way, the two new friends are all set to have a wonderful freshman year together. Yay! They decide to rush together. Lisa is the more obvious choice for the sorority because of her mother's legacy. Reminds me a little of the new girl in Pitch Perfect 2. In a touching scene, Lisa tells Shelby that she won't join if they're not both accepted. Aw, isn't that sweet? By the way, we see a picture of Lisa's mother on the wall at the sorority house. It looks a little like Larissa Oleynik. You may remember Larissa Oleynik from shows such as Alex Mack and the movies The Babysitter's Club or 10 Things I Hate About You, for example. But it looks a lot like her. It's just I think she would have been a little young to be a sorority girl in 1997, but who knows. The two girls end up both getting accepted into the sorority, and that's when the fun begins. Or maybe not. The initiation process turns out to be much more grueling than these two girls anticipated, and it only goes downhill from there, ending in a terrible accident. Intertwined with this storyline is the budding love story between Lisa and Mark Paul's character, Steven Tyler, a guy who can't help but be a smooth talker with a name like that. There's one scene where they go out for ice cream while Sophie B. Hawkins' Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover plays. The scene reminds me of one from Wes Craven's 70s exploitation flick, Last House on the Left, because two girls go out to a concert and stop at an ice cream parlor in that movie, too. Weird connection. Otherwise, the two movies have nothing in common, and I wouldn't really recommend Last House on the Left because it's really dark and really gross. But yeah, it for some reason, I get those two scenes combined in my head because they're somewhat similar. Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover is a common song in TV movies. It was also in Mother's Knows Best, and whenever it plays, you know there's a big makeout scene that's about to come. Steven is a nice guy, and he helps Lisa get to the bottom of what's going on in the sorority after a prank goes horribly wrong. Joining me today to discuss the movie is Alphia, who is the head admin of the Lifetime Movie Club fan page on Facebook. She is going to give a brief synopsis as well and some of her thoughts. Thanks for joining the discussion today, Alphia.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much again, Jennifer. I love talking about movies, and I'm so happy that you let me be on your podcast once again. And I want to talk about Dying to Belong with you. So Dying to Belong came out in 1997, and this is the first time I ever watched it. I did watch the remake of Dying to Belong, but I didn't know it was based off another movie that had came out in the 90s. And as a 90s baby, I didn't even know this movie exists or even remember anything about it. So Hilary Swank plays Lisa. And I love me some Hilary Swank. She's a very good actress. Grew up on her. I know she is much older than I am, but Lisa is a new young lady that goes to college, and she meets Shelby, who becomes her roommate, because her original roommate was a girl named Martha, aka wanted to be called Blue because her hair was blue. So Shelby and Lisa hit it off very well, and they become friends, and they're trying to pledge like any other friends. Like when you're going to college, like, you go to school, you meet new people, and you just want to vibe with them a lot. Y'all are vibing really good. Well, that happened. And then tragedy struck. And then Lisa's trying to figure out what happened to Shelby. And she figures out everything at the end. And if you have not watched this movie, I don't want to spoil it for nobody because it's worth watching. Because even if I did say a lot about the movie, you still got to watch it because it's worth watching. And just to imagine, can you imagine like you're pledging with somebody and something happens to them? Would you go to extreme lengths like Lisa did to make sure that they uncovered what happened to Shelby? That's a real friend right there. That really is. Because just the things that Lisa had to go through, even her boyfriend, the guy that she meets at the paper, his name is Steven. And when I first saw Steven, I said, oh my God, it's Zach from Saved by the Bell, because I am a big Saved by the Bell fan. I actually have a shirt of Saved by the Bell, actually. I mean, like I said. And Lisa and Steven, they hit it off real good or whatever. And I'm going to go ahead and say I liked how Steven was not a jerk. He wasn't really trying to pull away from her. He was trying so hard to be with her, and I loved it. And he helped her, and he was there for her. That's like, you can't find boyfriends or even husbands like this day and age. But I loved Steven and Lisa. And I would want to know, did they end up in the end together? Like, did they go off and get married or whatever? But I loved how Steven and Lisa's relationship was. I also liked how Shelby's relationship was with Lisa. Sad that she went through what she went through while hazing, because people really don't talk about a lot of stuff that happened when you pledge. And I know some of that does happen and some of it does, but it's just like some of the movies that Lifetime do, because they did a movie about a lot of sororities. But Dying to Belong, it really is a good movie. It makes you think who you have around you and who has your back. And Lisa, she really did get Shelby some justice. I really like that. And I hope that you guys check it out. Right now it's on Lifetime Movie Club, if any of you guys still have it, and I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. But I watched it on Lifetime Movie Club. But thanks again, Jennifer, for having me, and you guys enjoy the movie and let me know what you think.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Alphia. That was a great recap, and I really appreciated hearing your thoughts. So thank you so much for joining me. I do have one other thought I wanted to mention before I go into some of the movies that I think are similar to Dying to Belong. One interesting thing I noticed when rewatching Dying to Belong so close on the heels of having rewatched the original No One Would Tell is that some of the songs in the latter were also featured in Dying to Belong. For example, the opening scene in Dying to Belong features the same rock song that we hear on the radio when Candace Cameron and Fred Savage's characters are pulling up in the truck in the opening scene of No One Would Tell. Also, the main theme song for both movies is very similar, only in one the chorus includes the lyrics No One Would Tell, and in the other it's Dying to Belong. So that was very interesting, noticing that. But now I'd like to go over a little bit about some movies that remind me of Dying to Belong. Another movie that reminds me of Dying to Belong is Moment of Truth, Broken Pledges. It stars David Lipper as a college boy who dies due to hazing and his mother's search for justice. His mother is played by Linda Gray. Yet another movie about the BS that goes on in sororities and fraternities. Glad I commuted and didn't stay in the dorms when I was in college. And although Dead Silence from 1991 is not about a sorority, it is about some college girls who go on a vacation and end up in an accident that they cover up, and it could vaguely remind someone a little bit of Dying to Belong, though it's a different plot line, but it does involve college kids in an accident, so that's another good one. There was a remake of Dying to Belong in 2018. I have not seen that movie yet. It features Shannon Doherty, and it would be interesting to watch it sometime to see how it compares. But I've noticed a lot of these remakes just haven't been as satisfying as the originals. Overall, I would give this movie 3 stars. It stands out as one of the first TV movies I watched when I was younger. I have good memories of Heaven is a Place on Earth playing during one of the scenes in the dorm room with Shelby, but unfortunately that song was cut in more recent versions. Maybe due to copyright or something like that. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for joining me and Alphia, and take care.